I'm live. I'm live. Okay. So, very bizarre conversations I'm having on Twitter today. People are trying to debunk the fact that I was a furry. That never happens, like usually people try to associate degeneracy to content creators rather than remove it, but here we go. Like, I was actually arguing with people over the fact that I am a furry. For those of you who don't know, 2 decades ago, I used to be involved in the furry fandom. And now someone is asking me, it's like, okay, but like, did you wear a fursuit? It's like, no. Did you go to a convention? It's like, no. Well, okay, but like, then just liking the art doesn't make you a furry. And it's like, excuse me. It's like, of course it does. Um, what made me stop is like, well, how did you stop? Well, I got a girlfriend. I got a girlfriend, and then I lost interest. It's simple as. The magic of the vagina washed away the furriness. Uh, Shotgun Breakfast, thank you for the $5. He was already tossed out of Japan for the same behavior. Lock him up for good. Never see him in the US again. We'll talk about him. Just wait for more people to join, because usually it takes a while. But the reason that I've been talking about furry, like how the conversation even came up, is Blue Sky. Now Blue Sky seems to rapidly become the internet mental asylum. And people are checking in voluntarily. Right? Like, no one is pushing them there. They're going by themselves. And there's this account called Libs of Blue Sky. And Libs of Blue Sky is taking some of the most spicy posts from Blue Sky. And so far, they have not disappointed. One of them seems to be from an Antifa kobold. They have a very interesting furry avatar, and it says, a lesson Blue Sky can take. And again, like, this is a quote. Like, this is not me saying, alright? Don't clip me. Don't you dare fucking clip me out of context. A lesson that Blue Sky can take from the furry fandom is to keep things queer, says Antifa kobold. Happy and weird, because if you allow those three things to flourish, the quality of other spaces would be better overlord, with far less bigotry and hate. A stable furry population is crucial to a healthy internet ecosystem. Jesus fucking Christ. How can you say that with a straight face? Now here's the thing. When I used to be a furry, again, it was like 2 decades ago. So I haven't spoken with furries since. I don't even know what happened to the community besides the fact that Dragoneer passed away. Like that is the only thing by extent of knowledge. But even then, there was like this scientist, was a chemist. And he was doing a lot of furry organizations and shit. An elderly gentleman, and he went by the name of Kage, Uncle Kage. I think like his furry avatar was a roach. But he was speaking words of wisdom. He was basically saying, look, what furriness is like an adult fetish. Like, it's kind of like BDSM, right? Don't go talking around about it to other people. Don't go talking to reporters trying to normalize it. Don't try to explain it away. You're not going to get acceptance. You're just going to make people more disgusted and drag attention to the fandom. So just shut the fuck up. Enjoy your adult activities in private. And that's it. And I'm wondering, like, what happened to Uncle Kage? What the fuck happened to him? Because clearly he's not around. Yeah, like, furries were in the mainstream. They were on MSNBC. They were on the New York Times. Apparently, they had the Nazi problem because, obviously, when you go to prison and you have, like, skinheads with swastika tattoos and shit, they're the type of individuals that would definitely associate with furry members. But like, one of the things that I said when I left the fandom, and I don't know if this is the case, my impression of furries is that they're drama oriented to the extreme. They are some of the most conformist people that I know. Like, they are far left extremists, and they expect everyone to conform with the identity. Like, the moment you say something that's not left-leaning, like you're not pro-choice, you're not an LGBT ally, you're not, like the moment you are the violator, you play Hogwarts, they become unhinged. Like, they will go after you with life ruination shit. Most of the time, you see someone getting canceled on the internet. He's getting a lot of people that are demanding he get fired. Like, 20% of those people are going to be furries. the decision of me leaving the fandom is probably one of the best that I have ever done. So, no, I'm not ashamed of having been in the fandom, but at the same time, I do not regret my decision of leaving it. Solon, God bless Mrs. V, saved the man from a life of fursuits and diapers. It's not my current wife, though. Like, this is a story that was happening decades ago, and I had multiple girlfriends ever since, and now I'm with my wife. So no, she's not responsible of saving me from the furries. But yeah, so is there a furry fight club? There was a fatwa on a furry. So like back in 2016 when people were unhinged over Trump and they had the derangement syndrome, there was a furry that was LARPing as a Nazi. Like he had his fursuit dressed up with, you know, the Hugo Boss uniform, and instead of the swastika, he had like a red armband with a paw. And people considered him to be a Nazi. I think his name was Foxler. Foxler was his name. Yeah, like Foxler was his name. And I think it was a Latinx, actually. Like it was a gay Latinx man that the furry community decided he is a Nazi, and they offered $2,000 before the Biden inflation for anyone that punches a Nazi, because that was like the trend back then, to punch a Nazi. So yeah, like they literally put a fatwa on a furry. Let me see if I can find the Foxler so you can see who I'm talking about. But again, like the man was an individual that had a boyfriend. He was Latinx. Yeah, this was the guy, and he was being, you know, like part of the edgy humor, which apparently was not allowed in the community at the time. And certain organizers said that, yeah, like if they see him at a convention, they put a hit on him. They put a fatwa on him, and it was like a $2,000. And all of the tolerant and, of course, you know, kind, compassionate furries that are anti-hate were applauding the, yeah. I get it is what it is. Really interesting how it's rare to see someone just a furry. It seems to come with other sexual deviancies. I don't know. I mean, it's just like pictures of the anthropomorphic animals. That's it. Like, I didn't go to conventions. I didn't wear the fursuit. I didn't know. Like, that was... In fact, even then, I found it to be extremely cringe. Like, the idea of wearing a fursuit was very disturbing. You can dress up as a near animal and attend orgies. Yeah, I never did that. I never did anything like that in real life. But don't you dare dress up like a mid-century German. Pretty much, like, spot on. More Nikkei lore? Probably not that much, because I noticed a drop in interest. So, like, the first video had, like, 10,000 views, and the second one had, like, 7. So, like, it's a drop. And not to mention, like, I don't want to just make lore videos on a topic if it's not interesting. Like, if Nikkei makes another interesting story, like the Cinderella one, then, yeah, sure. But just to, you know, like, constantly milk the thing for content, no, I don't want to do that. No one's a furry out the gate. Well, I'll tell you how people became furries in my years. Basically, I moved cities, and I was quite lonely because I had no friends. I didn't meet anyone in the new place that I moved in, right? Didn't know anyone on the block, stuff like that. So I went on the internet. I went on IRC, and back then there were like 2 communities that you could join. It was either the anime community or the furry community. Now it's probably the LGBT community or the Nazis. Like, I don't know what's nowadays for the kids. But back when I was growing up, it was like either the furries or the anime community. And it just so happened that I joined the furry community. And, yeah, like, people there were very welcoming. Like, they were incredibly friendly. And that's how I became a furry. And the moment I had the girlfriend, I stopped. So... but nowadays, I generally don't know what it's like. Didn't Medicare claim you were yiffing with Sargon? That was fake news. I met Sargon on YouTube, like, way after I stopped being a furry. And the idea that I would just start doing things with a married man from Britain while I was also having a girlfriend was beyond laughable. No. Not to mention, I don't even think Sargon swings that way. Like, he is straight. He likes women. Hippo or walrus? I don't know. Dev would be a weasel. Yeah, here's the thing with Dev. I've been arguing with him recently, and a lot of people generally don't understand what I'm saying and where I'm coming from. Like, they're thinking that I'm anti-Ukraine or some shit like that. The thing with the situation between the Russian-Ukraine war is escalating, right? And I was actually talking with Dev because he was like responding to the escalation with based send more, right? So like the idea was that Russia said, if a nuclear power is supporting a non-nuclear power in a war with Russia, and you're providing them with long-range missiles, and you're attacking us, like we will consider the nuclear option. And this isn't really surprising because like imagine when the United States went into Iraq. If the Chinese would have provided the Iraqians with intercontinental missiles and they would allow the Iraqians to use Chinese satellites and Chinese personnel in order to fire rockets at the U.S. homeland that could hit the Pentagon or it could hit like military bases in Texas, right? Like, how would that look? You know, what would the U.S. do in that situation? How would it spark international tensions, right? So this is pretty much what's happening now with Ukraine. Like, the conflict is going and people voted for Trump. Like, people want de-escalation. And before Trump is getting into office, what the current administration is doing is escalating things to make negotiations more difficult, right? So it's kind of like subverting the will of the people, I guess. But like, here's the thing, because I was wondering, it's like, why do I dislike Dev? Because like, he's on my side, right? Like, he is on my side. He supports Ukraine, and the reason I support Ukraine is because of geographical reasons, because the conflict is next door, and my thing is like, I don't want the conflict to expand. I don't want nukes to fall into Ukraine and the radiation to come into Romania. I don't want NATO to be drafted into this conflict. I don't want to be drafted, or my son to be drafted into a conflict that has nothing to do with me, right? Like, that's the reason that I'm for Ukraine. Because, like, I don't want Russia to constantly keep taking territory and then have a border with Romania. Just like Russia doesn't want a border with NATO, Romania doesn't want a border with Russia. Right? So it's kind of like that. That's the reason that I'm supporting the conflict. Dev, however, who's in Canada, supports the conflict like it's a video game. It's like playing Command and Conquer. It's like left-clicking the troops, sending them to Moscow. Yay, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, victory. Oh, I lost? Oh, I'm going to load the game? Oh, well, wait, you can't load the game because there's no saves coming in real life. Right? So, like, this is the difference between me and him. And this is why I dislike him and other people like him who are posting videos on Twitter with a Russian soldier praying as a drone hits him. And, like, I'm sorry, but I find that to be disgusting. And it's not because it's a Russian soldier. If you showed it to me from any other conflict, if you showed me that with, like, a Palestinian soldier, a Pakistani soldier, an Israel soldier, I don't care what association to the country there are. I don't even care what the politic is or who's to blame or whatever. That video is despicable. Because I see the humanity of the issue, you know? Like, I understand it needs to happen because it's war, and that's how combat operations are being done. But to glorify them and to cheer for them, I think it robs away your humanity. I don't, you know, like, it's one thing if you're in the front line, it's one thing if you're in the combat zone, and it's another thing if you're sitting on a chair in a country far away and you're watching that and you're cheering at it. Like, why are you cheering at it? I don't care if it's a Nazi soldier. Like, again, like, yeah, you know, that's actually a good question. What if we were to see footage of people from the bombings of Dresden? And it would be like, well, I mean, they invaded, they started Barbarossa, they invaded Poland. It's like, no, I know, but I don't want to see it, you know? It's like, I don't like seeing war footage. and I don't want to see people glorifying it. Is that difficult to understand? Is it like, do I have to like it? Like, let me put it this way, okay? I think I can explain it better. I'm pro-choice, right? Like, I genuinely think that abortions being safe, legal, and rare is a good thing, because Romania had an anti-abortion policy, had really nasty consequences. But because I'm pro-choice doesn't mean that I think women should be able to get an abortion a day before. I don't think that abortion should be used as a contraceptive, right? Like in Romania, I think it's like 1 month or 2 months. I think it's like 2 months or 1 month and a half. I would have to check the legislation. I never tried to get an abortion, so I don't know. But like there's a reasonable limit, right? Like in which a woman can find out that she is pregnant and get the abortion. After which, like if she didn't do it in that time period, then tough shit. So you know, like that's my stance. I'm not forcing my stance on other people, it's just what I believe. But then I see other individuals who share my stance, who go on TikTok and they basically show themselves with a round belly and say, oh, this is before and after the abortion. Look how much weight I lost. Look how better I look now. Or there's people that, you know, they glorify abortion and they're like, oh yeah, like, I mean, even a day before the contractions happen, you should be able to. And you're looking at that and it's like, are these people on my side? What the fuck? Hello, Lumi. And you're wondering, it's like, are these people on my side? And it's like, yes. And then I realize what's happening. I know what's happening. When you share an ideology that's on the side of the establishment, there is no more quality control. And people can say literally whatever the fuck you want. And normies are some of the most political schizos people you'll ever meet. Like, some of the most unhinged takes are the ones that are supporting the establishment, because there's no consequences for it. Meanwhile, if you're anti-establishment, like if your take is on the opposite of the political spectrum, you get banned. So when you get banned, people have more sensitive takes. So like if the establishment is pro-choice, then you're going to find some of the most unhinged individuals on that side. While the pro-lifers, they're a lot more calm, let's say. But the pro-lifers, when they were with the establishment, because during the Bush era, like, pro-life was the establishment, they were bombing abortion clinics and they were shooting doctors. So it's like, again, it's where the establishment is where you're going to find the unhinged schizos. Every single fucking time. Can you even admit Russia was wrong to invade Ukraine? I always admitted that Russia was wrong to invade Ukraine. I still, to this day, admit that it was wrong for Russia to invade Ukraine. And if it was up to me, like, if I was God, if I had the genie, you know, I would wish that Ukraine regained all of its borders, including Crimea. But at the same time, I don't want the conflict to last forever, because I have a feeling that the U.S. policy right now is not for Ukraine to win. Because they're constantly withholding military aid until the last hour. They're constantly withholding funding until the last hour. And what I think that the United States wants, and what it actually makes pragmatic sense, is for this to be a forever war. They want to grind Russia. They want to do attrition on Russia. So they want to make this war last for as long as humanly possible, with the cost of Ukrainian lives. So I have a little bit more of a nuanced take. You don't have to agree with me. Like, you can say whatever you want. I'm not going to stop you. It's just that if you're going to be in Canada and you're not affected by this at all, and you're having like these takes as if you're watching a football match, I personally find distasteful. I don't think other people should agree with me. But like, yeah, if you're showing it on my timeline, if you're showing it on my feed, I'm going to say it's fucking distasteful, because it is. Now they aren't withholding anymore. Well, yeah, because Trump is coming into power. And Trump said that he's going to negotiate. So, like, people voted for Trump. And this is what's going to happen. Like, there's going to be a peace treaty. Will Trump be successful? I don't know. What will the conditions be? I don't know. But at least I would want to find out before, like, supporting more escalation. right? I mean, isn't that like common sense? Did you hear that Steam will now require games with season passes to list their upcoming content release dates up front? Good. Fucking good. I love the fact that Steam can now bully the AAA companies, because up until now, all the AAA companies had their own launchers. You know, like Ubisoft had this launcher, EA had this launcher, and they all fucked up. And the reason they fucked up is like, oh, you bought a game from Blizzard. Do you want a refund? Tough shit. Like, the refund policy for these places was so difficult to get. Like I think, like, EA, maybe? I could get it wrong. But they would actually get you to a customer support that would try to convince you not to refund the game. And they would make you wait, and there were delays. You know, like, it wouldn't be a problem. Like, most of the games that I refund were games that were actually broken at launch. Like, very rarely would I refund the game because I don't like it. Because I usually know what I'm getting into, right, when I buy a game. But if the game was, like, buggy to the point of unplayability, if the game was not what was advertised, like content removed, or the trailer was fake and shit like that, then I would ask for a refund. And, you know, on Steam, you click a button, boom, refund, right there. On other platforms, like the AAA ones, if you wanted a refund, it was like trying to pull a tooth out of their mouth. Why does NATO so desperately need Ukraine? The real question is, like, why do so many countries want to join NATO? And the answer is because Russia is a dick to its neighbors. Historically speaking, and I'm not talking about the Soviet Union, Russia has fostered bad relations with most of its neighbors. You're not going to see Canada joining into a Chinese alliance against the United States. You're not going to see Mexico joining an Asian alliance against the United States. And the reason for this is because, despite of what the US does, when it fucks people, it fucks them away from their borders. Right? Like, the US fucks with people somewhere in the Middle East. It fucks with people somewhere in Eastern Europe. Like, yeah, that happened. Kosovo, I think it was, yeah. But they're not fucking with people in their own backyard. They used to, by the way. Like, historically, they used to. But recently, the recent hundreds of years, yeah, like, the United States is not fucking with Canada. It's not fucking with Mexico. Right? Like, and that's why. Meanwhile, Russia doesn't behave like that. Everyone is afraid of Russia. Why do you think Romania doesn't want to border with Russia? Why is it that, like it would make sense if the neighbors from Russia would join a military alliance against the US, right? Like, that would make sense, because it's like, well, Russia's closer, right? But that's not what's happening. Everyone is joining it against Russia. They would rather ally with a country that's halfway across the world against Russia. Why is it? Did Russia do anything? Can we blame it for anything? Who goes to wars? Able-bodied men who don't go to war. Talking tumors like Dev, and all the rainbow weirdos who are deemed undeployable. Well, it's more like if you're in Canada, chances are you're never going to see action, even if it's World War III. The question is, did China really cut the cables? Probably not China. But someone did cut the cables. Did you see the RFK video talking about how the Ukrainian people will live under the BlackRock company? I don't know if it's BlackRock, but, like, definitely they're going to have to allow a lot of EU companies to set up shop there, and there's going to, like, from what I gathered, like, Romania, for instance, already made a lot of deals with Ukraine in exchange for the help. So, yeah, I mean, look, if you're not a large nation, if you're not an economic superpower, or you're not a military superpower, then your neighbors are going to run things for you. It's just like the way things are in Europe. A lot of people don't understand, like, in Europe, it's not politics based on ideology. Like, you can't really afford to have an ideology. Your politics are set by your neighbors. So, you know, if you're neighboring Russia, well, you're going to be anti-Russian. Like, it's just the way it is. It's like, you can, like, oh, another example, Hungary. Why is Hungary pro-Russia? Like, Hungary is not pro-Russia because, like, ideological or they like Russia or anything. No, it's because they're getting their gas from Russia. Like, they don't have anywhere else to get their gas from. So they're energy dependent, right? So when people say, oh, Viktor Orban is with the Russians, Viktor Orban has to be with the Russians, and when Viktor Orban isn't going to be in power, anyone else that replaces him is going to also be pro-Russian because the people there are pro-Russian. And the people there are pro-Russian because that's where the gas is coming from. So, you know, like, if you don't have natural resources to produce gas, well, you gotta take it from somewhere. And if you take it from somewhere, well, those people kind of dictate your policy to a certain degree. Because they can always be like, do what we tell you or we stop selling to you. And then it's like, well, we're going to buy from somewhere else. Really? From whom? So this is pretty much how European policy is dictated. Do you know why Dev is so drastically changed? I don't know, maybe he likes being contrarian. I have no idea. A lot of people say that he was always like this. Hungary isn't pro-Russia at all. Well, let me specify that for Eastern European standards, they are quite pro-Russian, right? So, like, when you compare it with other Eastern European countries, the most pro-Russian one is Hungary. And they have vetoed a lot of stuff from the EU as well. So, yeah, no, it's actually safe to say that they're leaning more towards the Russian side. Like here in Romania, being accused of being pro-Russian is like being accused of being racist. Like, that's the sentiment here. Hi V, joining in response to your title. No, right, let's talk a little bit about my title. I even made a video about it. So, I think we can go to Asmongold's video, because, like, this is an interesting thing with Johnny Somali. Do I have the video? Did he remove it? Oh my goodness, he took it down? No, he didn't. So anyway, I can't find the video, but I'll tell you what's happening. So Johnny Somali is looking at 30 years in prison. And I'm thinking, like, maybe 3 is enough. Right? Because there's other people that did far, far worse than him. And they got far, far less. So basically, he fucked around on a 5 and he's finding out a 38. And my question is, like, okay, did he actually do something to warrant 30 years in prison? And, you know, like, technically he did. He violated a lot of laws in South Korea, and all the crimes adding up are worth 30 years. And given the fact that he did this in other countries and he's a celebrity, he fucked around a little bit too much. Now, why do people support that he would get 30 years? Because I guarantee to you, I have a feeling that if I was to go to South Korea and be a cheeky little shit, and I was going to find out 30 years, a lot of you guys would probably say, well, you know, like, he does deserve a little time in prison, but not 30. Here's my take on it. I think that social media is a brand new phenomenon. Like, people haven't legislated with the account that social media exists in mind. So, when you look at real life streamers, this is even a newer phenomenon that didn't exist 10 years ago. Right? So, like, the idea you go with your text-to-speech super chats and you're walking around in the subway and you're being a cheeky little shit, this is quite new. I mean, this is probably 6-7 years old, right? And from the perspective of normal people, the normies, like, they're just minding their own business, they're walking on the street, and all of a sudden, someone drops a flower pot from a balcony in front of their dog. And it's just a prank, bro. It's just a prank. Ha ha ha. Yeah? You're sitting in your house, masturbating to monster girls, and all of a sudden a baseball bat flies through your window. It's just a prank, bro. It's just a prank. Ha ha ha. Someone steals your cat from in front of your lawn and causes you emotional distress. It's just a prank, bro. It's just a prank, you know? Someone abducts your kid and you're shocked and you're calling the cops, and then the kid comes back. It's like, well, it was just a prank, bro. It was just a prank. So now people are becoming aware. Now people are looking for someone to fuck. Like, someone has to be the scapegoat for this shit. Someone has to get its comeuppance. And Johnny Somali is actually not the first streamer that goes and does chicken little shit, but he's certainly the most famous. And other streamers that do far worse than him should actually be happy. They should be thankful that it's Johnny Somali that's being sacrificed rather than them. Like, it's Johnny Somali that's being taken to the cornfields and then tied up, and like, everyone else should be, that are doing the exact same thing that he does, should be happy. And by the way, there are people that are far worse than Johnny Somali. For instance, there was this lady on Kick that encouraged a homeless person to jump in a pond. And the person jumps. This is like an obese lady. And she jumps. And she's now floating in the pond. And she's crying for help. She's saying, look, I can't swim. I can only float. And the streamer lady, she runs away. Like, she doesn't call anyone for help. She's not bringing her a lifeboat. No, she just runs away. And as they're running away, they see the cops and the ambulance zooming past them. And it's like, oh my god, oh, that's so funny, right? That's attempted murder, chat. Like, say what you want about Johnny Somali. At least he didn't do attempted murder. Let's look at Mizu from the UK. So, Mizu kidnaps a dog from a person, causes emotional distress to this old lady, is pretending to have a knife and bully people while taking advantage of the racist culture in the UK. Is hijacking a train, like he's doing all this shit, breaking into people's homes. Far worse than Johnny Somali. But you know what? All of them have to be thankful that Johnny is the one being sacrificed. Like, Johnny is going to die for their sins now. And by die, I mean metaphorically. He's going to prison for their sins. It's like Jesus Christ for all these real-life streamers. Johnny Somali is the Jesus Christ. He's going to take away the sins from Mizu. He's going to take away the sins from the Kick streamers. And he is going to suffer the penance for everyone else that does similar activities. Thank you for the donation, Rottweiler. I strongly disagree with you regarding Somali. He should experience the full consequences of his actions. He isn't a kid. He can't play insanity, and he isn't a political prisoner to get Victor Mouth from. No, I'm not saying that he shouldn't be punished. I'm just saying that the punishment is a little bit too high. I think like 30 years for what he did is a little bit too extreme. Now, if you disagree with me, that's fine. I understand where you're coming from now. But still, like 30 years, Jesus fucking Christ. Right? I know people that murdered someone and got less. It's like, he died for your memes, yeah. He finally does something useful. Your Honor, my client should be let go because other criminals are worse. That's the defense. Has never worked. And good reason. No. This is not legal defense. Like, I'm not making the legal argument. I'm making the moral argument. I find it ridiculous that he's getting 30 years. Anyway, let's look at what he did. I finally found the answer. Crăciunului cu oferte excelente de la Jisc. Spiriduși de Crăciun la numai 23. V, if you went to another country and messed around like Johnny, I would have no sympathy if you got Furry live. Yeah, but I'm more of a compassionate person. Other streamers who did worse should get XX. Usually, if you go to another country and you're being a cheeky little shit of a nuisance, they deport you. But like with Johnny, they're insisting. No. The Somali stays. You can say that the Japanese people are polite to a fault, but the South Koreans are polite to a point. Again, my opinion doesn't influence his court case. Like, it doesn't matter what I think. I'm just thinking, like, he's going to get out when he is 50. I wouldn't wish that on anyone, to be honest. Like, that is extremely harsh. and in a Korean prison. At least he's going to learn how to speak Korean. Like, that's one of the things he will do.
Apparently might be taking a really long vacation from content creation. It might be a 29-year vacation.
Somali has officially been indicted by South Korean authorities for obstruction of business. What does that mean for him? Well, he could be looking at up to 5 years in prison, a huge fine, and potential deportation.
See, like 5 years would have been enough, in my opinion. 5 years would have been, like, this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying you should get off. I'm not saying you shouldn't be punished. But like 5 years for being a cheeky little shit, I think that's okay. But I understand people disagree with me. It is what it is. See, that's the question, though. Okay, let me phrase it differently. Is that a punishment that you guys would think is too much? Like, if he gets life in prison, would you guys be okay with that? And here's another question. What if it was the death penalty? Right? So, like, my question is, like, is there like a ceiling to this? Like, is that a level where you could say, you know, the punishment should fit the crime? Like, okay, he did this. He has to be punished for this. But maybe not life in prison. Like, that's my question.
Ooh.
Yes, this is as serious as it sounds. But here's where things get really interesting. The South Korean justice system...
Who does this?
People who want donations, Asmongold. People poorer than you.
But here's where things get really interesting. The South
Why? How do you do this? Like,
you know, the question is, like, not who does this, but who pays super chats for people to do this? Because none of this would exist. Like, the whole industry of the antagonistic streamers wouldn't exist if people wouldn't give super chats to them. Like, here's the thing. There was actually criminal activity with one super chat. So, like, Johnny is in a bus, and someone gives a super chat which says bomb, bomb, bomb. That person, like, knows what would happen if they give the super chat. So that person is causing the bomb, bomb, bomb. Johnny as well. Like, both of them should stand trial. Johnny for, like, knowing the type of community he has and enabling text-to-speech in a bus. Like, he should have... there is, like, in Romanian law... I don't know how it's, like, in your country. But, like, in Romanian law, there are things where you should have been able to prevent it. Like, when any reasonable person would have been aware that would have happened, right? So, like, you know your community. You know they would do this because they have done this previously. You don't use text-to-speech when in a bus crowded with people. And the person that did that, they too... Right? Like, it's not either or. No, they too... should suffer the consequences. But due to the nature of the internet, due to the fact that the person may be in Brazil or somewhere, it's like, it's obviously not worth persecuting him. But the blame is definitely on the people that are donating, right? Like, people donate to him so that they can see him do this. And he doesn't have like 5 or 10 people. He's got like thousands, if I'm not mistaken.
why?
For super chats, Asmongold.
It's just so weird.
See, that's the thing. Like, maybe you would give him a super chat and would ask him, like, why are you doing this? It's so weird.
Korean justice system, it's not like the American system. Last week, Johnny was arrested as the investigation began, and officials acted fast. They took his passport, effectively locking him in the country.
Jesus.
Now, after collecting enough evidence, they've officially
What is
charged
he
him.
doing?
This also means his travel ban is extended until after the trial, so there's no way he's leaving Korea anytime soon.
Bro.
Yeah, like, again, 30 years for this is a little bit over the top. But you should definitely get the fiver.
Oh, he's acting like he's 2 years old.
That's the whole shtick, Asmongold. That's the content that he is known for.
Like, honestly, it almost doesn't bother me that he's doing this because I think of it as like a person having a mental health episode.
No, the mental health episode is the super chat. You take that away from him and he becomes a sane young man. I guarantee you. Well, arguably. But
it's like, oh my God, we need to get social services over here immediately.
Does South Korea have social services?
Bro, somebody flew over the cuckoo's nest. What the fuck is he's crazy? Yes, he's an animal. What is this?
Asmongold. You just got back from a ban. Asmongold, you just got back from a ban. Like, come on. Come on. Don't get the language police involved again.
And here's a key fact to keep in mind.
Oh my
South Korea
God.
has a 90% conviction rate once a case reaches the indictment stage. Yeah, those odds aren't exactly in his favor. Johnny
I think he's banking on the fact that he's American and he can always, like, show his passport. Which is why I think he does need to get punished. But not 30 years. Come on. No, you can't convince me that 30 years is like, come on.
Johnny's facing some serious consequences.
Oh,
Right now,
boy.
he's only been indicted for an incident that occurred in a restaurant, which means more serious
Asmongold really loves this. Like, he's morally condemning it, but you can see on his facial expression that he really likes it.
Do this. I just...
Like, come on, if you're going to morally condemn someone, don't laugh. Like, at least be like a CNN poker face anchor. At least try to, you know, like, show the poker face and you know, like, at least that. You can't just, like, laugh your ass and condemn someone. It doesn't work that way.
How do you do this?
But you bob your head towards the waiter. That's how you do it. When you think the waiter doesn't look at you, you bob your head towards them.
It's so weird.
It is. It's why they're doing it.
indictments
No, people in the are saying for the views. Yes.
Who
could still
is this
follow,
guy?
potentially resulting
Oh, come on. There's no way you don't know who the guy is.
in up to 29 years in jail. Here's the
29
incident
years.
for which he's currently
Yeah, see, Asmongold as well as myself are shocked about the number.
indicted.
I just got the
That's my lifetime. Like, that's the time from when I was born all the way up until now. If you add another one to the two. But still.
Okay.
The funny part is the Koreans don't even know what you're doing. Like, the N-word isn't offensive in Korea. Like, they don't have the American culture, so you think you're acting edgy, but like in reality, no one gives a shit. I mean, they do care because it's loud, but not because of the words that are being said.
I'm black. I'm not gonna drink nothing. I don't drink. Here.
She's basically kicking you out. Like, I don't speak Korean, but from the body language, I kind of understand that she's trying to kick him out.
No drink. No. Look here. Digo. I eat the ramen. Very good. I go.
God.
Oh my god.
I know. The thing is, like, I'm feeling embarrassment for him. That's why I'm laughing. Like, I'm not there and I'm feeling embarrassed. I'm feeling embarrassed for this old lady. It's like, why does she have to put up with it?
I
See, no, I get it now. I fucking get it. No, I genuinely do. Okay, because I usually see his streams taken out of context. And I get it, like, it's funny, you're laughing, it's entertaining, but you realize these are real people, right? It's not entertaining for her. Like, she's not a paid actor. Like, if this was acting, if she was in on it, if she was getting paid, then yeah. But I don't want to laugh and be entertained at the expense of other people. No, finally I got it. I get why Johnny Somali is having so many viewers and why people are supporting this behavior, right? Because, like, when you see the clip, it doesn't make sense. But when you're watching the stream, it's entertaining. Yeah, it's funny because you're wondering, oh my goodness, like, this is so embarrassing, and you're smiling and you're laughing. But it's not funny for the people there. It's not funny for the people getting pranked and having to do that, right? So, like, because I have a little bit of fucking empathy, despite being a right-winger, I'm like, yeah, I don't want more people like Somali. Because I put myself into the shoes of that lady. I'm like, okay, if I'm working there, and I'm minding my own business, and someone comes in there, plays loud music, is bothering the customers, is making a mess that I have to clean, is acting like a disturbed chicky little shit, is scaring away other people. Yeah, you don't want to deal with that. Life in prison would be okay. It's okay. We can certainly go further. Oh, come on. I saw my first Asmongold video today, says the real Hortinator. He was covering Shu. Haven't seen her since the D&D Crusaders days. I haven't seen Shu and Head either. Didn't she got pregnant? I settled for a year, but they deported him to Somalia afterwards and burned his passport. Ooh, that would actually be worse than life in prison. He deserves much of what is coming to him, but I also think that he won't face a fair trial. Some of what he will be charged with shouldn't even be criminal. Yeah, no, I do think that a lot of people just want to make an example of him. All I've said is that we need a lot more headsmen. 500 to the parents for failing to educate their child. Do you know that actually that is that used to be a punishment in medieval time? Like if your child was doing something bad, the parents could be punished as well. For Johnny Somali, the proper penalty is 1,000 belts per infringement. Don't they have the chancla in Mexico? If you went... Oh, I already read this one. There was one more. He isn't getting 30. Legal Mindset, who lives in Korea, already clarified he would probably get 5 to 10 years. 5 years would break him, and 10 is perfect. Yeah, I think like 5 years would definitely make sense. No, if he gets 5 years, I'm withdrawing all of my statements. The only thing that I'm saying is he shouldn't get 29. I think that is way too much. 5, yeah. No, and the reason I'm saying 5 is because he went to Japan. He was a cheeky little shit. He actually escaped the long arm of the law in Japan, which wasn't really good for him if you think about it, because he could have avoided the situation in Israel. He could have avoided the situation in South Korea. So, like, maybe he should have benefited a little bit from the Japanese politeness. But he escaped it. And then he went to Israel, started shit there. And then he got kicked. And he's in South Korea. And he's doing shit there. And I do think, like, yeah, maybe it's time that he learns a little bit. Like, 5 years would definitely be okay. Can he live stream his prison sentence? Oof. Medieval punishment makes more sense than long-term prisons. Kinda, I guess. To be honest, like, a lot of people don't like the concept of medieval punishment, like corporal punishment. They still do that in the Middle East. But, like, if you were to be charged with, like, 20 years in prison or 100 lashes, what would you take? And I think I would probably take the 100 lashes. I don't know. It's just, like... It's more cost-effective, and I'm actually curious if it's not changing people's behavior. Because you're like, yeah, like, the prison is something that's more... Like, most people don't even know what it's like. And it depends from country to country. But everyone knows what lashes are like. And public humiliation and shit. So, I would actually be curious about the crime rates in the Middle East compared to crime rates in the United States. I may be wrong. I would change my mind if I see the stats. No, they don't give you 100 lashes in a day. Jesus Christ. Like, you wouldn't be able to survive that. No, they basically, I think, like, they apply, like, 10 or 20. And then you're spending time in a jail, and you're recovering, and they have doctors to make sure that you're fine. And once the doctors think you're ready, you get the next 20. That's how they're doing it. They're not primitives. Jesus. It's 2024. Like, they have medical teams and everything. Goodness gracious. You Americans are so weird.
I swear to God. Like, this is like what little kids do.
Yeah, but you're smiling, aren't you?
I think there might be something wrong with him.
No, I think there... Like, okay. If that's the case, would you think there's something wrong with the people watching his streams? Because I never watched the Johnny Somali stream up until now. Like, I usually see it in the news and there's like a little clip. But now that I'm watching with Asmongold, I'm getting a different perspective on it.
Yeah, I actually think that there could be something wrong with this person.
No, I don't think he behaves like this when the cameras are off. I think he's got a different attitude. I think he's behaving like this because he's streaming.
Low IQ? Thinking like mid-70s, somewhere around there.
laughing. See, this is the thing. If you weren't laughing, you may have an argument like, who's watching this? Why is he doing that? But he is entertaining. Like, he makes you laugh. And that means he's entertaining. I'm sorry. But again, the problem is that the other people aren't in on it. The people around him aren't being entertained. And that's where my compassion goes. It's like the people around him don't have to see this shit. You know, the lady working there doesn't have to deal with this. Like, imagine this, right? Imagine you're at a restaurant or a place, and you're sitting next to a guy that's streaming, and they're doing this. It would definitely ruin your enjoyment. You know, like, a lot of people don't go out every day, so, like, when you do go out, you want to enjoy a nice meal, and you have, like, the streamer doing this shit. It's a public nuisance. Now, watching it from your home is different, right? Like, if you're sitting in your house and you're watching it, it's hilarious. But if you're there next to the guy, it's not so funny.
Should never have kids.
Yeah, like, who has to clean this? Who has to clean this?
Since you are eating raw ramen with hot water, why don't you pour the hot water down your pants to kill your sperm cells? It's cheaper than a vasectomy. Your father was right to say you never should have kids. Your father was right.
See, this is another thing. Like, this is probably a person who doesn't like Johnny, but is now donating $3 to Johnny. Why do you think this is a good idea? Like, you're literally funding him so he can do more. You're funding him to show that if he pisses you off, you're going to give him more cash.
Father was right. Oh boy.
Your father was right. Oh.
You're throwing it around. Ooh. Who is this guy?
Yeah, this is like a Mr. Bean sketch, isn't it? Like, the Mr. Bean had, like, a sketch when he was at the restaurant, but the difference is, like, everyone was an actor, everyone was paid, and everyone was in on it. None of the people here are paid besides Mr. Somali, who got $3.
So nasty. Who does this? She's like, clean it the fuck up.
And the other thing that they're doing, by the way, and I don't know if, like, the activists are saying it. He is a black person in South Korea. Like, I don't know if you're allowed to say this. I don't know if it's okay to notice. Because, like, identity politics is a thing now, so it's very important. Like, in one hand, you have to notice it when it comes to reparations, but when talking about people, you're not supposed to. But if you're a black person in South Korea, you're standing out. Like, literally everyone there is Asian. It's like a white person in South Korea is standing out as well, right? So when you behave like this, it's going to create stereotypes. Disparaging ones at that. So you got a responsibility, you know, assuming that identity politics is a thing and assuming you actually care. Because that's the other thing, you know, like, he was next to the police getting arrested and someone was calling him an N-word. And his friend is like, why are you racist, bro? Why are you racist, right? Because, well, he cares about, I guess, the way people treat African Americans, right? He cares about his brothers. He cares about the prestige of African Americans. But, like, for some reason, he doesn't care about the prestige when he does this thing. And, you know, if you do this in America, it's one thing. But when you're going in South Korea, where you stand out, it's a completely other thing. It's like, if I was to go into South Korea, people would know I'm Romanian. If I behave like this, yeah, it reflects poorly on every single Romanian. Is that how it should be, or it's how it is? And the opposite is true. Like, if a South Korean comes into Eastern Europe, and they would behave like that, yeah, like, a lot of people, you know, like, okay, you get one person that behaves like this, you get two, you get three, and then you have a stereotype. How do you think stereotypes are born, by the way? So the black community should definitely hold people like this accountable. If you want to travel to Japan and not be stereotyped, well, you need to make sure that the stereotype doesn't happen. Because that's one of the things that the anti-racists don't do. You know, like, they never blame the people responsible for creating the stereotype in the beginning. And this is the type of behavior that you just don't do in Asia. Like, no one behaves like this. And the reason they're behaving like this is because of the super chats.
Stupid ass. I didn't even drink here. Are you dumb? I already told you, you stupid ass, bald ass.
She's not bald.
No, seriously, like, from the looks of it, this is like a very peaceful convenience store, right? The worst that maybe they have is someone that comes drunk and maybe pukes or something like that. And even that would be, like, insanely rare. Insanely rare. Like, because I used to be in neighborhoods like this, where they have, like, a small convenience store where you can go and, you know, it's late at night and you can get a ramen soup or something. And it's usually insanely peaceful. And now you have this guy, very loud, sitting there, making a mess, having sounds of monkeys and shit. What do you think this woman is going to tell her kids when she gets home? What do you think this woman is going to tell her friends? What do you think, like, everyone that goes into that store is going to see? Going to see a black gentleman, probably American, behaving in the worst fashion imaginable. And it's going to create stigma. And then the anti-racists will be upset. It's like, well, why are you prejudiced? Why are you prejudiced? Like, they're not going to be upset at Somali. They're not going to say, like, why did Somali did this? How do we fix this? How do we... No. They're going to be like, why are people talking about it? It's like, well, because it's how human beings work.
I did not drink it, you stupid. Fuck you. Fuck you, Chinese. Fuck you.
Yeah, this is disgusting. Holy fucking shit. It was entertaining for a little bit, but now it's just becoming... See, like this is the thing. Again, it reminds me of him being next to the police and someone calling him the N-word. Or sorry, a friend of his was getting called the N-word. And he was, like, they were so upset. It's like, oh, why are you calling me that? Why are you calling me that? But then he goes around there and throws racial slurs at other people who did absolutely nothing wrong. Imagine the shame of being a public defense lawyer and they throw you Johnny Somali's case. Can you imagine if you actually get Johnny Somali's case and you get him off? Like, then you actually become a good lawyer. Finally, we had the loss of a leg, final offer. Do you think, like, this is how the prosecutor would negotiate with the defense in the medieval time? It's like, all right, well, let's have a deal. Like, 5 lashes and the loss of a leg. That's my final offer. Or he gets the chopping block. He would be bargained for. Mexican prisons have a fair share of American inmates. It's also... Okay. Do you remember when in Russia they managed to apprehend that baseball lady and for doing drugs? And she got traded for Victor Bout. What matters is, well, obviously, like, for the Biden administration, the identity politics was important, but it also matters how famous you are, how popular you are. Like, I'm sure that the Mexican prisons have a lot of Americans, but, like, if no one knows who the fuck you are, like, no one is going to complain, right? Now, in the case of that American athlete, well, she was an athlete and she was part of BLM, so, like, all of those were prestigious things at the time, and she had a lot of activists on her side. Johnny Somali doesn't. Now the reason I think Johnny Somali escaped Japan is because Japan has an interest of being close to the United States right now, especially with tensions between China and Taiwan rising and the situation in the China Sea. And they looked at the Biden administration and they're like, okay, these people are really high on identity politics. Like, they're willing to trade Victor Bout for a lady that, like, let me put it this way. There was another person, I think, that there was this ex-special forces guy that was in Russia. And he was sitting there for years and they didn't trade no one for him. They didn't trade no Victor Bout for him, right? But the moment that black lady got arrested, that's when they traded Victor Bout. And for those of you who don't know, like, Victor Bout was the most wanted person in the world at one point. He was an arms dealer. I think they called him, like, the Merchant of Death or some shit like that. Like, he was a very important prisoner for the United States, and they immediately traded him for this for this sports player. Right? So, like, it's obviously identity politics in nature. It was, well, she's a black woman. That guy is a cisgender straight man. That's how the Biden administration viewed it. So Japan is like, okay, so this is how the Biden administration judges things, and now we have like a black man on our hand. It's like, okay, well, we don't want any trouble. We don't want like he's a high profile individual. Everyone knows him. Like we don't want a situation where it's an international disaster. So we're just going to kick him off from the country. We're just going to deny him entry ever again, and we're just going to deport him. South Korea doesn't care about that. Like, South Korea notices that, okay, well, Trump is going to come in power. Trump doesn't care about identity politics. This guy also doesn't have many friends abroad either. Like, he doesn't have any support. He's not part of any NGO, not part of any organization. So, yeah, like, chances are he's fucked. Vid, you want to live in Demolition Man? Because XX is how you avoid Demolition Man. Jesus. We already live in Demolition Man, though. Yeah, basically, like, Japan didn't want to deal with Johnny. That's pretty much it. The US let a minor get caned from vandalism in Singapore. Yeah, but again, like, he wasn't high profile. Like, if it was Greta Thunberg, I guarantee to you she wouldn't get caned in Singapore. It matters, like, how much of a wave you make. If you're someone of renown, if you're someone that, people know and talk about, right? If it was, what's the name of that kid? Shit, I forgot the name of him. Hogg, David Hogg. Yeah, David Hogg wouldn't get canned for shit. Like, they would have pulled all the strings to get David Hogg out of Singapore, right? So it matters, like, who you are. It's not like, oh, well, there's this one American that got... No. It needs to be an important American. Not everyone is important, chat. I know that the Biden administration is all about equity and yeah, okay. Some people are more equitable than others.
He's in Korea. Why is he calling her Chinese?
To be disrespectful, Asmongold. That's insanely disrespectful. It's not like America. No. Ethnicity matters around the world. Like, if you call a Romanian Hungarian here, or vice versa, if you call a Hungarian Romanian, it may get a little bit more upset. It's kind of like a slur.
So let me get this straight. He's in South Korea, spamming Hiroshima, Nagasaki to troll them.
No, I don't think he did that in Korea. I think he did that in Japan.
Calling the people there Chinese.
Yeah, that's racist. I mean, it's not racist. It's like trying to say anything that you would know would get a reaction. It's like someone calling you from California. Yeah, it's kind of like someone calling you a dumb Californian Democrat. Oh, even better. Okay, it's like someone calling you gay, Asmongold. Like, there's nothing wrong with being gay, right? Like, it's 2024, the gay people are... But you're not. But you're not. You're not gay, right? So if someone calls you gay, it's kind of the same. When you go around the world and you call someone a different ethnicity than they're not, especially if it comes with historical baggage, because that's the reason, right? Like, there is history between South Korea, Japan, and China. So when you call someone a different ethnicity on purpose, like, not as a mistake, that's when it's rude and disrespectful. So he's being disrespectful, basically. It's not that he doesn't know that she's not Chinese.
In South Korea. He doesn't know where he is?
Well, that's not it. Good God, I wish I could educate these people.
Oh,
I wish. Look, you know that meme when, like, you need to study about world culture so you can be racist more appropriately, like so you can be more accurately racist. You need to study the history and the culture of people. That's literally it, Asmongold. Like, you need to understand. Like, Johnny Somali actually, I'm sad to say, but it's true. He actually did study the culture of the place, so now he can be racist more accurately. Like, this is how he raised his power level. It's very subtly like that. See, you don't get it, but I'm telling you, South Koreans do. Like South Koreans, if you call them Chinese, they definitely get upset.
My God. Average American. Don't put this on me.
Like, the power of Koreans to ignore what's around them. This is like a superpower. Like, holy shit, even I wouldn't be able to do it. But you can see the facial expression. Like, even though, you know, they say representation matters, that I would need to see, like, another Romanian to feel the emotions, because otherwise, no, I feel everything. I feel everything. I'm looking at this man. Just by looking at his face, I already see the expression of disgust, disdain, what the fuck is this shit, how did we get here, this didn't happen in my grandpappy's time, like all of these expressions. Maybe North Korea wasn't so bad. This wouldn't happen under Kim Jong-un. Johnny picks countries he knows he will get away with things. If somehow he gets out of South Korea, he said he is going to Thailand. I don't think he knows, Luby. As I mentioned before, Japanese people are polite to a fault, and South Koreans are polite to a point. Do you think like King Jong-un would allow this? It's like Johnny Somali is probably like the best propagandist for North Korea. It's like, support unification under King Jong-un and this wouldn't happen. Like, none of this would happen.
Oh, God.
Look at this woman, holy shit. Look at this lady.
Oh, God.
Nope. Nope.
As seen in the video, Johnny is shown disrupting a restaurant, throwing noodles, making a mess,
So
and playing
annoying.
loud, obnoxious music. In the US, behavior like this might result in just a warning or a fine.
Behavior like this is normal in the United States.
Behavior like this in the United States during the Biden administration would get the store in trouble if you complain. Like, if you guys remember the Starbucks controversy where you had like two gentlemen that were sitting at a table and refused to order, and the store tried to call the cops, and the store manager got in trouble. I think she got fired, actually. I think her license was pulled back. And then the entire Starbucks in the US, like every single Starbucks, they probably lost like $10 million or so. They had to shut down so that they can teach their workers sensitivity training. So, like, in the US, this is not permissible. This is a good thing. Like, this is why we need more. The US craves, you know? The US demands more of this. In fact, most of the fucking viewers are from the US.
Yeah, like if you go to a 7-Eleven at 3:37 in the morning, there will be a Johnny Somali there.
In Romania, it's not the case, by the way. No, if you behave like this in Romania, you get thrown out. Like they won't call the cops or anything, but they will throw you out. And if you refuse to go out, they will do violence against you. They will not call the cops. They will just do violence against you. And if you resist, there will be more people doing violence against you. And because of that, no one tries it. No one tried. Like, we just don't do this in Romania. No.
But in South Korea, it's an entirely different matter. Disrupting business in this way is taken very seriously
Yeah,
and
it
carries
should be.
significant
It's weird.
consequences.
I wonder if he knew, though. I wonder if he genuinely knew. Because even I wouldn't expect. Like, usually, I would think that if you behave like that. Like, let's say I go to France. I don't know the legislation in France. But I think if I behave like this, I would expect a fine. Or a couple of days in jail at most. But probably a fine, right? And then you get kicked out from the country. Like, that's what I would expect. And not to mention, like, you expect that, well, nothing will happen because the store just kicks you out and they don't call the cops. But, like, if it comes to that, if it comes to the long arm of the law, they will probably just give you a fine.
And now he's about to find.
What you can be guilty of is trespassing. So like if you go in any country and you do this type of activity and they ask you to leave, the moment you refuse to leave, you're trespassing. Even if it's like a store open to the public, it's still a private property. So you're guilty of trespassing at that point. Then it's like whatever laws for trespassing are there. But apparently, like in South Korea, they have additional laws for disrupting a business, which I've never heard of in any European country. They probably exist. I'm not saying they don't, but I haven't heard of. So like this is why he's getting so much jail time.
Find out just how serious those
So
consequences
ridiculous.
are, but it's too late as he could be facing years in jail. Now, you might be wondering, what about those other charges? The disrespect towards significant statues and
This one is really serious. Like he has no idea how serious this is. This is like going into America and doing something incredibly disrespectful towards the cross on 9/11. It's kind of like that, but even worse, I would say. So like this statue, from my understanding, it represents the victims of sexual abuse done by the Japanese during the Korean War. Like it's got like huge sentimental value, huge baggage. Like what he is doing here is difficult to put in words. Like my country has no equivalent, let's put it like this. Like there's nothing you can do in my country towards a statue that would be like this level of disrespectful. It's kind of like, okay, I know how it is. It's kind of like if in the United States you break into CNN, you go into The View, and you're walking on set and you're starting to call Oprah you're starting to call Whoopi the N-word, you're calling all the other women gender slurs. You're showing your penis in front of a guy. Kind of like that, okay? Like that would be the equivalent of what he is doing here.
the use of deep fakes. Well, he hasn't been formally charged for those
Who does?
yet,
What is wrong with you?
meaning
He just wants to make super chats, Asmongo.
more serious indictments could still follow. He tried to dodge the consequences with a fake apology, but no one is buying it.
Nobody
Why?
believed that.
Well,
Well, it's not the first time he apologizes, so.
watch
wonder
this to
why.
find out.
See, like, this is the thing with an apology. There's, like, two types of people demanding apologies. So you have, like, the first type of people that they want an apology so they can start the persecution. Like, they use your apology as an admission of guilt, right? But then there's the genuine people that actually do look for an apology. And the idea of an apology is to show that you know you've done something wrong, and is to promise you never do it again. And Johnny Somali upset these people that are, you know, like kind-hearted, and they're like, okay, well, you understand you fucked up, don't do it again. But Johnny did it again. Several times. So at this point, like, no one believes that he is apologizing. Yeah, Asmongold knows about that. View isn't on CNN? How do you know? How can you tell? I think it's on MSNBC, right? Behavior like this is acceptable in California. No, it's like burning LGBT flags in California. That's what he's doing. Like burning an LGBT flag. For Americans, it's like if you put a paper Burger King crown on top of a Ronald McDonald statue. Yeah, he also said he will not stop. Like, his statements do not coincide with his actions, basically.
So to all the people of South Korea, I just want to apologize for what I've done, and I really did not mean to hurt you guys.
I love how he's acting like he's the representative of some corporation that just threw smudge in the river. It's like he just needs a podium with like 15 microphones. And you know he's about to get fired anyway, but like he just got to go through the motions.
This is pride this much. You guys are good people. You guys
Your
are great
guys
people.
is.
Your guys are good people.
So we're thinking about like somewhere around 75 to 80. Yeah, I think probably 75 to 80 IQ.
Jesus. There are certain things that I could say now that would get me in trouble with YouTube TOS, so I'd rather not and just like keep going.
About like the room temperature.
There is a device that measures room temperature that could be used in a joke here, but I can't, chat. I can't.
50.
And for the most part,
that's a
other
cold
than
room.
Mr. Navy SEAL here, I've had a great experience with a lot of the South Korean people, and it was not my intention to really hurt you guys, and I hope you guys can accept my apology.
But what was your intention, though? What was the intention? The intention was to get super chats, I guess, so. Yeah, it's true. I mean, he's not lying. I don't think he actually intended... Like, if he can get super chats without offending people, I think he would.
Apology. So when I saw this statue, I came upon it on my stream.
Look at this guy. Look at it.
At first, I really didn't know what it was.
This belongs in a museum. I want someone, like, I want to commission someone to draw this painting. You know how when they had the case that the media isn't allowed to go with, like the Maxine Water case or the Donald Trump case, and they don't allow live streaming, but like there's someone, a reporter there, and he draws the painting. This has to be drawn anime style, though. Like, you draw this anime style and you frame it, and it's like the world best picture.
So now
I believe
after I
that.
see the reaction from the Korean people, I see that it really hurt you guys. And
Why is it hot, nigga? It's like, I see you really hurt you guy. Yeah, we did. You did. You hurt us. You hurt us. But like, this facial expression, my fucking god. If someone looks at me like this, I would think that, like, they're, again, you know, the left is all about representation, how you need to see people like of the same ethnicity as you in order to understand the emotion. No, I understand everything. I understand all emotion. I understand that if the cameras were rolling, there would be violence. Like, this guy is looking at Johnny Somali the same way like a lion is looking at a gazelle. He's like a hunter. He's already lasered in. He's like zoomed in. He's probably like doing everything he can in order not to snap. Like, he's remembered all of his Asian meditation techniques, everything that he was taught since he was young. It's like, okay, how do you meditate? How do you keep your cool? Like, well, all the things are going through his head now just in order to calm himself. It's like, the cameras are rolling. The cameras are rolling. Meanwhile, like, this guy has something with the cameraman. Like, whoever is filming, like, it's probably a friend of Johnny, right? So he's like, he's looking at it and it's like, no, you too, buddy. You too. Like, you two aren't going to escape. No. Like, you think it's all, no, you too.
my intention in coming to Korea was not to cause this kind of shitstorm. My intention was to come here, do my live streams, make content, and be funny. It wasn't really, I didn't want to.
Well, how do you be funny? That's the problem.
You laughed, Asmongold. Don't talk shit. Don't talk shit. You laughed. Be honest. I was honest. Look, it is what it is, right? Like, unfortunately, we find certain things funny that we shouldn't find them funny, but if we do, we gotta own up to it. Just gotta own up to it. There's a reason he's got like thousands of subscribers, okay? It is funny. Like, let's not be like the left and, oh, why do you do it? It's shock humor. That's what it is. But the problem isn't with the humor. Like, if you was to hire actors and recreate the bits, no one would complain. Like, these are good bits. They're like the shit that I grew up with. Mr. Bean, it was called. And he was doing, like, similar things. But all the people were in on it. All the people were actors. All the people were getting paid. None of the people are getting paid here. Like, the people don't want to be part of the bit. That's the problem. It's not that he's not funny. He is funny.
Piele complet fină în 3 pași cu noua gamă Gillette Venus pentru
This
zona
is not me.
intimă.
This is the commercial, by the way.
Or
This just jumped at me. What is wrong with the commercials? But by the way, these are Romanian commercials, right? These are Romanian commercials. You got like commercials in the United States, like for Gillette, where it's like, no, like don't approach women, Don't approach woman, Daniel-san. Not in public. Go on Tinder. Or you have like another commercial with a father teaching his trans daughter how to shave. And meanwhile in Romania, here's a Victoria's Secret model shaving her intimate area by the razor. And people are like, okay, where do I order it?
Get anybody in trouble.
Sounds remorseful, right? But here's the thing. He claimed he didn't know the statue's significance. Yet, in a previous clip, Johnny is seen talking about the significance of these statues. He even made sure to highlight it during his live stream.
Japan hates this thing.
He did know exactly
right here,
what it symbolized.
make sure to fucking show it.
For Koreans.
Japan hates this thing.
Oh my god, yo. This is what I was looking for. Japan hates this thing. Right here.
Yeah, make sure to show it.
Japan hates this thing. I stand with the Korean people. I love Korea. And everything that I did in Japan was for the Korean and the Chinese people.
God.
Let's go. Let's get out of here.
I think that there's a very good probability that he actually doesn't know any of the historical context, and somebody just told him that there are statues there that make Japanese people mad.
I think so too. I think so too. Like if he knew, I don't think he would believe it's worth it. Because I think he does the risk assessment. And it's like, okay, if I fuck up with this statue, I might end up in prison. Maybe not. There's no super chat big enough. Like, you know, maybe for $1,000 super chat I would, but like if I do it, it's not going to be worth it.
And he said, okay.
I think so too. See, like me and Asmongold, we're thinking like streamers. Like we're trying to think about like, okay, if we were out there, like we were mentally deficient. We were out there and we're suffering from brain damage. And we're live streaming. And we want to get banned from every platform. How would we do it? And there's like some things that even me and Asmongold will be like, no. Yeah. Oh. Our commercials suck? Oh, I see. But like, you guys get to see the type of commercials I have, and when I go on Twitter and you just see like a normal woman and people are like, oh, you're a gooner. It's like, my brother in Christ. I'm in Romania. Again, Romania is one of the biggest suppliers of video chat ladies. Like, they're on television, in reality shows, everything is a video chat lady, and we got commercials like that. We live in the good. We surround ourselves with the good. You wouldn't last a day in Romania. If your standard of gooning is just like fully clothed woman that has sex appeal. Like, okay, if that's your standard, you wouldn't last in my country. Romania has quality commercials like Italy. If it was only that, it wouldn't be bad. Well, no, he did the deepfake one afterwards, right? Like, if it was just that, where he sits next to the statue and kisses the statue, yeah, it wouldn't have caused the public outrage. But he did the deepfake one afterwards. Oh my god, Johnny Somali in Mecca. Oh, guys, would you sponsor that? I know what I said. It's like the people paying for super chats are the problem. But imagine this. Johnny Somali into Mecca. And like the highlight of the show is him going to the Kaaba. Maybe you don't know what the Kaaba is? Hold on, actually. By the way, if this thing disappears, do you guys think like all the Muslims deactivate? I actually asked ChatGPT like what would happen if this thing would get, if it would disappear, aliens come in and pluck it up. And the answer would be like mass horror and confusion, despair. and then calls for vengeance. It's like, oh god. Yeah, Johnny Somali in Mecca. Johnny Somali. How long would he? You know, like that would be the question. Like how long it would take. Because I don't think he can get all the footage out. I think that there may be like some technical difficulties along the way. I think like maybe we're looking at 45 minutes of streaming if he plans to go for like 2 hours, you know. Oh, what about Johnny Somali at that wall? Well, actually, he did go to the wall, didn't he? Like the one in Israel where all the American politicians take pilgrimage for. Like there's a wall that attracts all the American politicians. I don't know the religious significance of it. But let's say like that wall is fire and the American politicians are like moths. Like you gotta go to the wall. The moment they swear in, like the moment America swears in a politician, he feels compelled. Like there's a powerful force tugging him to the wall. Let me look at the wall. You guys know what I'm talking about? Donald Trump wall? Hold on, let me here we go. You need to touch. You need to touch the wall. Like the moment you become a politician in the United States, you gotta touch it. The wall needs to be touched. I generally don't know the religious significance of it. It's just like everyone just like goes and they close their eyes and they touch the wall. They don't want to touch it before becoming politicians. After becoming politicians, they gotta touch it. It's almost like, you know, and there's like some old politicians as well. Like for their entire life, they didn't know that's what they needed. And once they become a politician, they go and they touch the wall. So I want to see Johnny Somali there. I want to see him at the wall. Is the Donald Trump wall? I think that's what it is, right? Like, this is the Donald Trump wall. Like, at this point, you rolled a critical 20 on your persuasion. And from now on, I'm generally going to refer to this as the Donald Trump wall. Like, there's no one that can persuade me that it's called anything else. Like, this is why the politicians want to go there. It's because Donald Trump touched it. So from now on, every single time I see an American politician going there, it's like, oh, so you wanted to touch the Trump wall as well? It's supposed to be the last standing structure of the Temple of Solomon. Well, why does Donald Trump want to view the last standing structure of the Temple of Solomon? Like, why? Huh? Maybe this is where he got his power to dodge bullets. Like, the moment he touched the wall, the divine energy went in and protected him from the bullets. Is that wall racist, by the way? Because I understand the border wall is racist. Everyone writes a wish on a piece of paper and sticks it in the wall. Is that a thing? There's no fucking way. How does the wall know how to read? Do you have to write it in a specific language or any language works? Anyway. Where were we? We're still halfway through.
Get down to brass tacks here. If you had Johnny Somali sit down and you asked him to write down on a sheet of paper what these statues are a representation of,
there's no fucking way he can. No, he doesn't know.
Do you think it...
But I can tell you he knows that it pisses people off. I guarantee to you. Like he would be like, it's a statue that pisses off Koreans if you disrespect it. I think that's what he knows.
It would be accurate? Stupidity is not an excuse. No, I just...
Well, it's kind of like this. The N-word, right? Before doing YouTube, I didn't know the origin of it. I didn't know, like, the historical significance of it. But I knew that if you go in America and you say it, it's very offensive. Like, you don't actually need to know everything about an object in order to be aware that if you disrespect the object, you're going to piss people off.
I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it's so ridiculous. Do you think he can write? Give him a crayon.
They're gonna clip that. You don't know the significance of that statue. You don't know the significance of that statue.
Here it is. I do.
Japan's trying to remove those all over the world.
But why?
God, you should have seen their faces, chat, when they saw this pop up on the screen. They said, "Oh."
So his apology starts to feel less like genuine remorse and more like damage.
Yeah, he says Japan hates these statues.
But
I
why?
actually think that's all he knows.
control. The contradiction is clear. He first educates others on the importance of the statue,
Well, he doesn't know
but
why
later
they hate
acts
them.
like he didn't know what it meant.
You're killing me, Asmongold. It's like going into a museum and they're talking about like splitting the atom, and it's like, well, Japan hates splitting the atom, but like they don't know why Japan hates splitting.
Meant. That's a tough one to believe. This brings us back to why the authorities aren't taking his apology at face value. And it's not just the government that's after him, he's also angered many Koreans around the world, some of whom have even made threats against him.
The last person that I want to argue is this guy. I'm just looking at his face, and I already know from my ability to stereotype and stigmatize, I know that this is not the type of gentleman you want to upset.
This message is for Johnny Somali.
So, Johnny, not only are you pissing off Koreans all over the world, but you just pissed off a lot of the wrong people. Don't come back to America, Mr. Somali. It's your only warning. How many do you want to lose, Johnny? Because the price that you need to pay for playing
This guy looks like he's like the villain towards the beginning of a...
I know, right? Like within the first 6 seconds, I didn't even need to know. Like I don't need to go on his Wikipedia page. I don't need to find out who he is. It's just like when you see a person that has like this look in their eye, you know, like they have like the women. By the way, women don't know this. Like I noticed this for some reason. Like you see a person that's clearly unhinged, and women are like, "Oh, he seems like a nice guy." No. I think it's like men know how to assess danger, you know, because when you're a kid, you get into a lot of fights. And after a while, you kind of get like, okay, well, these are the people that you don't want to mess with, and these are the people that you can mess with. And this guy definitely falls into the first category. There's like some solid indicator, like I can't even express what exactly is. But it's like the body language, the way they conduct themselves, like within the first 2 seconds, you know, like you don't want to be in a fight with this guy.
Metal Gear Solid game.
stupid games is the lives of your crew,
Like,
your family, and everyone you're goddamn connected to.
You gotta watch your back. We're not to be fucked.
Yeah, see, like this guy, I wouldn't be afraid of him. This guy doesn't scare me. The first guy does. It's in the matter of speaking, the matter like how he looks, like, and when I say he looks like he looks towards the camera, like all of that shit. Like the guy actually knows how to be intimidating, and the reason is because he probably hangs around other people who are intimidating.
With us in LA, we go on the roofs and literally snipe you motherfuckers. You fuck with us in.
Yeah, this is like a person that talks bad shit. This is not intimidating. This guy has an earring. No, this is, yeah, cringe.
oh my fucking god,
Yeah,
he's bringing up the LA riots. Oh my god.
Yeah, but everyone knows about the LA riots because of the BLM protests. So it's not like huge knowledge.
Motherland,
what?
you're
Yes.
fucking dead. Like, you gotta watch your back. I'm telling you, if you're in a 20-mile radius to where I live, be prepared to see. Like,
Dude, if you have an earring in your ear, don't tell other people to watch their back. They will misinterpret what you're saying. Come on.
straight up. And I'm saying this as an American. I'm a Korean American, right? But it's
Oh,
in my
boy.
bones.
Yeah, I can tell. I can, and not by the accent and the perfect English. No, I can tell based on other things.
People with Koreans, I intrinsically have this desire to make them find out.
Johnny's actions didn't just anger Koreans.
Oh,
they
God.
also
Yeah, see, this is the problem. It wasn't like the first one with the statue, which by the way was upsetting enough, but not to this level.
outraged Americans and the entire online community.
Nobody likes him.
He's a nuisance streamer who travels around the world.
Guys, today we're going to be talking about Johnny Somali. He's a nuisance streamer. What he does is bad. Okay, like don't go around in foreign countries and commit acts of vandalism and do your best to piss people off because it's not cool. I mean, I can see why he would do it for the super chats, but no, don't do it, guys. It's not worth it. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Oh, it's not him? I thought that the statue was AI. Oh, shit. Oh, okay. Wow. Like, that is... Yeah, if it's not him in the AI video, that's actually, I feel bad for him. But, like, if you actually make your entire reputation being around the cheeky little shit, then you can't complain when people are unable to differentiate. And thank you, Lab Lab, for the DM. I just saw it now. I did a good critical impression. Dude, if Moist Penguin, if Moist Critical, if you're going on a vacation and you want me to take over your channel for a couple of days, I'll do an excellent job. I will know what to say in every single video that you want me to cover. Like, the people won't even know that it's not you. And they're fucking good. Then what do you want me to talk about? The conflict in Russia. Okay, guys, today something big happened, and just wanted to say a couple of things about it. So, Russia has launched hypersonic missiles into the Ukraine, and this is bad because the anti-air capabilities of Ukraine to intercept those missiles is not that great. You see, hypersonic missiles is a new invention, and we don't really have the technology to fight against them. But I want you to know that I do support Ukraine because they have a right to defend themselves, and that's the correct take on this. Like, anyone that says differently is wrong. But that's all I have to say about it. So let me know what you think in the comment sections, and I'll see you later. I'm tempted to train an AI on your voice now, if you know. It's too complex. I need to dumb it down a little bit more. Shit. It's too complex. Okay. Hold on, I can do it. Alright. Okay, guys, so today I heard on the news that Russia has attacked Ukraine, and what is bad? There's no victors in war. There's no reason to, but we gotta support this war with our taxpayer money. But other than that, it's bad. So that's all I have to say about it. Is that more accurate? Is that closer? Now do Dev? No, sorry, I don't have like 5 hours. Cause like with Dev, in order to imitate him, you need like 5 hours of content. Like you find the footage that can be covered in 10 minutes and you stretch it in a video for like 6 hours so no one can do a video reply to you. That's fucking Dev. I don't know how Lumi can. Lumi, how do you deal with it? How the fuck do you deal with it? Like, I couldn't. Holy shit. I guess you need to be a woman. Like if you're a woman, you just know how to deal with men that are very opinionated. You just shut up and sink into the background. I don't know how she does it. The second Korean guy wasn't Korean American. He's Californian Korean. I know, Motocross. Trust me, I know. Like, it just took me one single glance at the image, and I already knew. Like, you don't need to tell me any further information. I can even tell you how he votes. I'm that fucking good.
just getting his ass beat. He is literally
It's kind of funny, isn't it?
like a piñata that gets delivered to different countries for the citizens to beat up and take some anger out
he's a
on.
loot goblin.
Because he's a racist asshole who does his best to disrupt society and make everyone's lives around him miserable. So it's justified that people just beat his ass because he is just this miasma of cringe and just in general piece of shit.
This is my favorite fucking one. So
No, my favorite is in Japan, I think, when a tourist knocks him out. I think like that definitely trumps this one. Like at this point you have like so many compilations you can actually make like a top 5.
if you guys didn't see this entire clip, what ended up happening, Johnny Somali was getting out of the hospital for being punched in the face. This guy follows him out, recording him, and after he gets far enough away out of the hospital, punches him in the face again. And it just reminded me of, like, remember back in WoW, where, like, you would wait outside of, like, the sanctuary zone for somebody to go into contested zone and then start attacking them? Was so fucking funny.
Yo, what?
The literal definition of F around and find out.
That sure
Japan,
is.
you can't come here again. Korea, congratulations. Now you can't leave.
Oh,
Yeah, like
man.
Koreans don't want him to go away. He's a national treasure. You don't take our Somali away, no, he's ours now.
It looks like he has no agenda. Like,
What is up with Korean men and ear jewelry?
he has no anti-Korean agenda.
I don't think he has an anti-Korean agenda.
No, he doesn't. Like he literally, like, if he comes into Romania, I know exactly what he will do. He'll start calling people Hungarians. Like he will say whatever it is needed to be said in order to piss people off. If he goes into a neighborhood with the Bloods, he starts rooting for the Crips and vice versa. Like, it's that type of person. And it doesn't matter the consequences.
I think he's just an obnoxious retard that runs around causing trouble.
Can we say retard now? I see so many content creators saying it. It used to be my catchphrase. Who said it first? I think it was Hassan Piker. And after that, everyone is saying it. Like, it's like open season on the word retard now. Retarded.
I genuinely don't think so. He's just an obnoxious, annoying retard. And there's no like principle to this.
Yeah, it's not like the Joker that has like an underlying message. No, he just wants to make money. Like, if you're a Korean and you want to go to him and help him video edit or shit, like, he's not going to have a problem with it. Like, he's going to take your offer. Like he's not racist. But he says racist shit because he knows he gets a rise out of people.
There's no...
No,
like,
he's not the Joker. See, like, the Joker at least is doing it to prove a point. The Joker is trying to get Batman to have a really bad day. Johnny Somali just wants the super chat.
like world philosophy that's being used.
Yeah.
There's no outlook or anything. He's just an annoying retard. That's it.
I'm going to start saying retard from now on because Asmongold said it.
I think that's the only thing keeping him alive in Korea right now, honestly. Because he's insulting Korea, but because he just came out of Japan as well.
Well, he thinks Korea is Japan. That's why he was spamming Hiroshima and Nagasaki to make...
No. God damn it, Asmongold. No. By calling Korean people Japanese, it's insulting. It's not that being Japanese is insulting. It's like, again, it's like you being, like someone calling you gay, right? Like, nothing wrong with being gay, but you are not. And someone calling you that upsets you. That's what he's doing.
Korean people mad. Like, yeah, he doesn't even know. He's just an idiot. Like,
and I know why he knows, because he actually went to Japan and he was like, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, we do it again. That's how he became famous.
and
it's
he got
just
a travel
sad.
ban for insulting the Japanese. Otherwise, guns or no guns, there would be no Johnny Somali in Korea.
Ooh. So basically what he is saying is that the only reason they're tolerating him, and by tolerating means like punching him and not doing more, is because he insulted the Japanese before. Yeah, no, like this sounds like European politics. Unironically, you know, like this is why I find it funny when America says white people. It's because you don't know Europe. Like there is no white people here. It's like ethnicities and nationalities. And people have historical baggages, right? So like if you call a Hungarian, Romanian, or holy shit, imagine this, right? The worst thing that you can possibly do is what Joe Biden did and call a Ukrainian a Russian. Like, he actually called Zelensky. He called Zelensky Putin, I think. Yeah, like that's pretty much like a slur. That's like the N-word, you know, to like, and usually, because the thing is, like, in Europe, you have, like, a lot of historical baggages. Like, there's been a lot of wars, a lot of conflict, and usually wars aren't, you know, like, civilized wars. It's like, no, like, they came, they raped, they pillaged, you know, that type of thing. And the historical trauma is recent. It's there, because it's like, it happened usually within the last 100 years. So it's very difficult for people to get on top of that. Like, you didn't have, like, gender studies, and it's like, oh, let's crack the stereotypes. Like, no, you didn't have any of that. And to see that the same situation is happening in Asia, where, like, this guy is saying, like, the only reason Johnny is alive is because he assaulted the Japanese. He's got the street cred. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Serbia is Kosovo, yeah. Zelensky bit his lips. Well, I mean, you understand. See, there's another thing in Eastern Europe. Like, we don't have words that we ban. We don't ban words. We don't ban phrases and expressions. The intent behind what you're doing. Like, people will actually look and see if what you're doing is mean-spirited or you're just being stupid. If you're being stupid, people give you a pass. But if you're being mean-spirited, like if you're doing it on purpose, then people get offended. Korea should have a lottery so the winner would get 5 minutes with Johnny Somali. Oh my god. Like calling a Hindu or a Muslim. Yeah, like this is actually the thing in most places around the world. Especially with countries that had like recent historical grievances. You know, it's kind of like in the United States, you have identity politics. It's like, oh, well, because like slavery, reparations, right? It's kind of like that, but worse. Especially if the historical conflict was recent. And like people actually know individuals that, like, you know, like you have your grandmother or someone that got molested within the conflict. Yeah, like that's ugh. And it causes friction between cultures.
The obstruction of business charge is just the beginning. More charges could be added as investigations continue. This situation is unfolding quickly, and I'll keep you posted as it develops. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
I think that eventually he's going to end up in jail for a long period of time.
Roll it.
I think
I think so too. Again, I would say 5 years is enough. If he gets more than 5 years, I would say the crime doesn't fit the punishment. And this is what my titles were about. Like from what I've seen, from what he did, 5 years would be more than enough for what he did. If he gets 30, I would say, okay, that's way too much.
100% what's going to happen. It's not even a question. We hate Johnny. We agree on something. Yeah, I guess so. and like, yeah, apparently,
Johnny
let me
Somali-
link you guys to video.
Yeah, I would say that Johnny is the great unifier. I see leftists and right-wingers. I see people from BLM and MAGA. Like, everyone is joining hands, and they're like, you know what? We have our differences. We can't agree on anything else, but, like, on this situation, yeah, you're right. Yeah. No. Like...
Video. This is a really good video. Let me see here. Give the guy a sub. He's only got 1,000 viewers or 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, I'll link it to you guys. Give him a sub. This is a really good video. They should drop him off. I think that they should do that too. I think that like North Korea hasn't had a W for a really long time because of like, you know, basically everything. I think that they could get a pretty big W if they offered to take Johnny Somali off of the world's hands. You know, like Kim Jong-un could farm a little bit of reputation and be like,
to be fair, what I think North Korea would be able to do with Johnny Somali would be to create propaganda, especially anti-American propaganda, and I think like Johnny would go with it. Like if Johnny was in North Korea, Kim Jong-un would offer him money and bitches and be like, okay, all you gotta do is badmouth America and say they actually sent you to Asia to talk shit, and this is what American streaming is like, and you know, like they would have their own propaganda that the people would believe it in North Korea. Yeah, I think they would do that. No, I think like Johnny could actually do pretty well in North Korea. If he actually like, if the government knows who he is and they want to recruit him as an agitator, yeah. Wouldn't that be fucking interesting though? And I'm telling you this because I come from a Soviet country. Like I'm imagining like what would happen if like someone like Somali came to Romania under communism. And okay, so you have an American, it's a black person. As far as I know, there's no black people in North Korea, so like that's a novelty. And you would just have like videos, you know, showing his streams and saying like, this is what America thinks of Asia. Look how he is disrespecting, blah, 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 blah. And Johnny would be like, oh yes, the government forced me. Yes, Joe Biden forced me to do this. Like they forced me to go into all these places and be disrespectful. And people were paying me for it, blah, 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 blah. But now I'm regretful. I'm remorseful. Like, thank you, Kim. Thank you for showing me the light. Yeah, no, they could actually do really good propaganda videos with him.
just send him over here. We'll take care of him. You know, North Korea, yeah, I mean, they could really claim that it's such an easy fucking W, right? Yeah, build up some worldwide goodwill. Absolutely smart. Yeah, I mean, like, they really, yeah, somebody needs to go tell him that. He's probably working for North Korea. I bet he probably thinks he's, I bet he probably thinks he's in North Korea. The thing is that a person that's that dumb, you can't communicate with them, you can't interact, you can't have a discourse with them, you can't explain things to them. They're just fucking stupid. Imagine if North and South Korea reunited over hating Johnny Somali. Like, it was like the one thing that like takes it over the edge to make everybody positive about it. I think that could happen. You're right about that. That could be.
Yeah. Dennis Rodman is good friends with Kim. It's like calling China West Taiwan. Oh, he has already insulted Kim Jong-un? Depends how Kim would take it. Like probably they would ignore that. I mean, the North Koreans don't know, right? Yeah, I have been streaming for more than 1 hour. And thank you for reminding me, because I have to prepare. My wife and the baby is going to wake up. And also tomorrow... No, on Sunday, not tomorrow. Today is Friday, right? 2 days from now, we're going to go voting. And I haven't followed Romanian politics as well. And I didn't know who to vote for. So I opened the television. I saw who horrifies the press the most. And I was like, okay, I'm going to vote for that guy. It's like literally the guy that the journalists hate the most. That's who I'm voting for. I'm not looking at the polls. I'm not looking at the surveys. Usually the press looks at the polls. They know the polls better than me. And the guy that they're absolutely livid and freaked out by, like, that's the guy that has some chance into making a change. So that's who I'm voting for. It's very simple. Like so far, I have never been wrong with this assessment. Like the one that makes the journalists the most upset, that's my man. And so far, I never regret it. I never had like buyer's remorse with this. No, we don't have a Romanian Trump, unfortunately. But we do have journalists that don't like some people, and it's like, all right, I'll vote for those. Anyway, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the comment section. Take care.